And we're live. I think we're live. Yeah. What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new live stream. Today is going to be an interesting one because obviously everybody's excited about the privacy meta. Zcash has been absolutely exploding. So we're going to take a look and I'm going to give you my thoughts about why I do think that this meta could have some potential for lasting through a bear market, and why even if a bear market was to start today, I do think the privacy meta is gonna still stand very, very strong. I also have a giveaway. I have a giveaway for you guys tuning in that is only gonna be available if you're watching this live stream live, and I'm gonna select the winner by the end of the live stream. So what is this giveaway about? I'm gonna announce it real quick so you guys know and are fully aware. I am proud to be announcing a new partnership with the Crypto Banter channel with Terminal. You guys might know this trading bot as formerly known as Padre. I've also made a post into my free Telegram, which you can check out, by the way, if you see the links that are down in the description of this video. I'm now partnered with these guys, and to one lucky winner that signs up to Padre today, before the end of the live stream, we're going to give away one Solana. Okay, one Solana to one of the live viewers. So stay tuned. Let's do the tweet together. So, I mean, no strings attached. So, live giveaway to announce my new partnership with Padre. Let's do it right here. Say what's up in the chat. Like the damn video. It's called Terminal right now because it's been acquired by Pump Fun. In my opinion, I've had the pleasure of testing Axiom, BullX, a lot of trading bots out there. I think that Padre is the best one out there right now, and this is why I decided to partner with these guys in the first place. So, we're giving away one Sol to a live viewer of Crypto Banter. So let's do it. Okay, so all you gotta do, instructions, like and repost. Follow me on X and YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's down in the description. And sign up with my link, which I'm gonna post right here. Guys, you can find the sign up link right here, okay? So sign up with this one. Post proof in the comments and tag 3 friends. Winner is gonna be selected during the live stream. All right, there you go. Cool. Now let's go back to the topic of today. Freaking privacy coins, okay? So why is our privacy coins pumping right now? Obviously, there's been a big catalyst event that has been Zcash. Why is Zcash pumping? A lot of people are screaming cabal. This is basically a cabal play. Other people are just saying that it's basically just become a normie coin. I'm going to talk a little bit about Zcash because I want to give you some kind of intro. I know Ran made a video on Crypto Insider. I also made a video on my own YouTube channel, which again, you can find down in the description. To be honest, Zcash is getting a lot of comparison and a lot of similarities with Bitcoin right now. First of all, they have a total supply that is exactly the same, but obviously the price of Zcash is much lower. There's people like Ansem that are tweeting on a daily basis, buying Zcash right now is like buying Bitcoin at this kind of price. And obviously, Zcash is privacy centered. What does it mean? Zcash uses 2 different types of addresses. So see it like this. You have the option of using privacy with this chain. There's transparent addresses and shielded addresses. So a transparent address is exactly the same that you would see on the blockchain. So a normal address that is verifiable on the blockchain, etc., like a Bitcoin address, like an Ethereum address. And then we have shielded addresses. And this is where it gets interesting to me. Shielded addresses are basically addresses that are masked. And there's going to be transactions that are going to be shielded to shielded, so completely untraceable. And then there's going to be transactions that are going to be transparent to shielded, so they're going to be traceable only for half of it. So the thing that could be an advantage and a disadvantage for Zcash and the SEC token is that the user has the option of using a shielded address or not. And unlike Monero, I think that most of you guys are going to be familiar with Monero. This was like the gold standard for privacy coins. It went on a crazy run, and right now still the chart is looking incredibly good. But Monero was imposing privacy by default, and on the other hand, Zcash is giving you the option of using the privacy or not. So it could be, you know, a double-edged sword. On one hand, you could say that it's going to be less subject to regulations, and on one hand, you can say that it gives, you know, it gives more freedom to the user, but it's not going to be as privacy focused as something like Monero that imposes that by default. Okay, so that is like the main difference between the two, and why there's a big hardcore community of Monero, and why there's also a big hardcore community of Zcash. But a lot of people are also making some claims right now, which I'm gonna go to in a second. It's been quite controversial. So first of all, if you see the price section of Zcash in the last month, and I know it's quite impossible to do TA, it was following this rising channel, and then you can see that it just went ballistic. So if I see the price section of like the last month, look, this is exactly 1 month from today. 6x. Okay, the price went from $125 to $750. That is a 6x. So obviously yesterday was an obvious local top for this one. And if you top blasted yesterday, I mean, I'm sorry for you guys, but I don't think it was a good opportunity. It could still be very good for the long term, and I do believe it goes higher, but top blasting is not really a smart thing, okay? Well, with any kind of crypto, altcoin, meme coin, whatever. By the way, sorry for my voice, but I'm literally sick. So if you hear my voice a little weird today, it's because I'm sick, okay? So before somebody says in the chat. But I'm still doing this live stream because this is freaking time sensitive, okay? So I couldn't miss the opportunity of going live today. So it tanked over from yesterday. The local top was yesterday. Look at this. 33%, almost 35% with the week in one single day. Honestly, I am not concerned about these things because what comes up so damn fast, it's also gonna come back down. So is Zcash still a good buy? Honestly, it was a good buy at $100, at $200. Even the other day was a good buy. Right now, we're seeing a dip on a daily basis, but it's still incredibly volatile. So unless you know what you're doing, maybe you're doing futures with a very tight stop loss, I would not bother. But I don't want to give you financial advice. I do believe that still it's going to be, you know, it could still be very, very good for the long term, but I would not focus on something like this. I don't think it's just like very interesting at this price. That is just my own opinion. And also there's a bit of controversies that you can see on X that I'm going to go to it. I don't want to talk about, you know, too many like woke things or get too political, but basically we found out, I mean, Crypto Twitter found out yesterday that one of the founders is transgender, and the price immediately crashed just because of it. I mean, that is quite hilarious, regardless of your views on this or whatever. And there's also this video circulating. So you can see 25% the last hour. I'm going to look over some of the tweets that I was able to find. This is one of the founders, okay? It's a trans woman, man. I mean, sorry for my ignorance. And apparently it's even Epstein related. I don't think I want to talk about these things on a stream, but you can check it out. The author of this post is called Dylan. His username is _whale. So check it out. I'm not going to go through it. But anyway, this video is probably the reason between the SEC crash. Probably it's over. I don't think it's over, but this is definitely some good buying opportunity in hindsight, or the beginning of the end. It's very hard to say. I actually didn't see the video. I want to check it out. Let me see.
Space inside your head where you can basically think whatever you want.
Can you guys hear it?
I'm fairly confident that no one is reading your mind, that you can reason about the world and reason about what should happen in the world. But then once you've done that, once you come to some conclusions, you need to discuss them with your friends, because maybe you're wrong. Maybe they'll have a viewpoint that you haven't considered.
Okay, I'm bored already. Fuck this shit. Anyway, this is like the public figure founder. Bro, like some of the comments on crypto Twitter have no chill. I mean, yeah, it's basically one of the devs. And I also saw the original video And guys, like the comments are really harsh. The comments are really harsh, and people are like, send Zcash to 0. This was posted like last year. So the price action, I mean, last year it was basically nowhere the token. So I don't think it counts, because if you think about it, like Zcash actually has been around for like 8 years, and it hasn't done pretty much anything at all for all the last few years until now, really. And obviously the very big star that you can see right there. No sound. I think you guys can hear me, but maybe confirm in the comments. Anyway, it's quite crazy to see this kind of stuff. But again, some people are going to say that it's a good buying opportunity. Some people are going to say that it's not a good buying opportunity. I'm not here to tell you to buy Zcash. Honestly, I did not trade this. I always keep it 100. I tell you what I trade, what I don't trade. I was sidelined on this. I'm not going to lie. I missed the initial pump. I would have loved to buy this at like $200, even $300, but right now I just don't see a risk to reward ratio. At the end of the day, we're talking about something that even right now is 9 billion in market cap. However, there are some very good plays that could be good alpha that I'm gonna go through it now. So forget Zcash, whatever, it's gone. Maybe it's not gone, but I mean, I don't think you guys want to buy now. So the thing is that when something like this happens, there is a big narrative pumping, like the privacy one. There's going to be an alpha play, just like meme coins, okay? There's an alpha play and there's beta plays. The beta plays are basically going to follow what the alpha play does, and maybe they're going to do 10% of the gains, but they're going to be much lower in market cap, okay? So those gains are going to be much, much faster, and that's really the way that you make money. Find a narrative and something that has a catalyst, in this case, the privacy narrative as Zcash as the narrative. There's going to be a lot of other pumps. I'm not saying they're going to be good investments for the long term, but you probably can jump on the boat and make some money in the short term, do some scalps, do some swings. So I want to hear from you, actually. Do you have good plays that you would recommend for privacy? I'm going to take a look live. I'm going to take a look at like the most famous ones right now, the ones that are more trending. And there's a couple that I particularly like. So stay tuned until the end. If you just joined the live stream, a reminder, okay, that I'm running a live giveaway right now. So if you want to participate, it's the first post. I mean, not the pinned one, but the last post that I put on my page. Here's the instruction. Check it out. I'm going to select the live winner in one of the comments right here. All right. So do it. And I want proof. If you didn't sign up with this link, you're not going to get any money. All right. You're going to give away one soul. So check it out. Okay. So let's see. What should I look at? There's a few that I like. Obviously, 𝗙𝗫 has been one of the interesting ones out there. I don't want to particularly say that I like this one. In fact, I don't really like it. I know that a lot of people have been shilling this to me. A lot of people like 𝗙𝗫, but I don't know, man. So first of all, it's been around for a very long time. It's been around from like 2014. And you can see right here that it has the classic chart of an altcoin that goes through several bull markets, and every bull market is diminishing returns. So obviously it got parabolic in 2017. I wasn't even in crypto like back then. Like, dude, like literally right before I joined crypto. Why would you buy something obviously there, then it crashes a lot, and then some people buy it, it has another run, and then it doesn't do anything. So I don't think that the price action is really interesting to me. However, it's already listed on Binance and Coinbase, so it gives it some kind of authority. But I think that the best gains are really gonna be made for the projects that are not listed on these exchanges yet. Because obviously if something gets listed on Binance and Coinbase, it's going to be a very good catalyst event. However, there's a catch, because when it comes to privacy coin, one of the main threats that the industry faces, and one of the main threats for all this category of cryptocurrencies, is that they're going to be heavily regulated. So for instance, you guys remember that for Monero got delisted on Binance and I think OKX. I don't remember exactly when that was, but I think it was like somewhere around last year. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was basically delisted and the price crashed immediately when that announcement came around. I think it was Binance. I think it was Binance last year. But anyway, 𝗙𝗫, what I don't like about 𝗙𝗫 is that 𝗙𝗫 was not born really and marketed as a privacy coin. It was marketed as a coin that is basically a payment solution faster than Bitcoin, but as a privacy that you can toggle or untoggle, essentially, with the kind of like shielded addresses and whatnot. But it didn't really start as a privacy coin. So it kind of is a stupid currency to me because it doesn't really have a sense of direction. That is just my own take. Now, in the last month, it's been pumping. Right now, it's getting a bit of it's retracing. It's right now at around this support level that I can see right here at a first glance of the chart of like $80. It could happen. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I would not bother with this one. I see that you guys are actually putting my main picks. So Pirate Chain and GhostWareOs are actually the ones that I wanted to talk about. I'm not sure if you guys saw my tabs that I had open, but these, in my opinion, are the interesting ones. Monero have endless supply. That is bad. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that Monero is the answer. I think that Monero is what really started the trend of privacy, but I don't think it's the end game. I don't think that Monero is going to be like the ultimate play for the meta. Definitely not. Although you can say that the fact that XMR, Monero, as privacy enforced makes it superior for a standpoint of privacy to these coins. But at the end of the day, the thing that we're talking about here is returns. What's the risk to reward ratio for an investment? If we're talking about technology, I do think that Monero is superior, not because it's faster, not because it's like, you know, it can give you more money right now as an investment, but as a technology, if you really want mass transaction and something that is untraceable by government entities, by your internet service provider, and so on and so forth, yes, Monero is still the future. Monero is still like the GOAT, in my opinion. But we're talking about something that is low in market cap, because this is what I focus, especially on my YouTube channel. If you want to check my YouTube channel, make sure to check it out. It's right here in the links, and all my links are going to be down in the description of this video. So here's my YouTube, free Telegram, private group, my X profile, and obviously terminal for getting access to the giveaway today. I talk a lot about low caps, and this is also what I want to talk about today. So let's get started. So Pirate Chain is quite degen, 100 million in market cap. Why do I like this? So Pirate Chain is essentially a better Zcash. It's a fork of Zcash. However, it doesn't give you a choice. You guys remember that I've talked about Zcash and the opportunity of choosing between shielded and transparent addresses. So Pirate Chain uses the same technology of Zcash that is called 𝗙𝗘𝗔𝗧𝗏. So it's a tech that basically validates the authenticity of your address and transaction without the need of disclosing the address. Okay, so that is pretty much how it can be described. It's very simple, but it's only 𝗙𝗘𝗔𝗧𝗏's addresses. It's only shielded addresses. So there's not going to be transparent addresses, such as it was the case with Zcash. So it's a fork. It has obviously a very weird chart. I'm not sure if I would buy this just as a first glance, because honestly, just dude, like the pump that it got right here was absolutely insane, and it hasn't done much for the last period, but we can actually see that it's been pumping as of lately. And if you think about it, the market cap is still very low. And there's a lot of potential, in my opinion, for exchange listings. I was also checking out the X profile. The team seems very active. I'm going to take a look in at the website in a second. So it's listed on Gate, on MEXC. And it's quite funny because when the pump actually occurred, this was the cycle in 2021. I never traded this really, but I got told by some sources that this was only tradable in TradeOrder. You might remember that was like the miners exchange. There was a lot of coins that were like quite sketchy. If you guys remember Cubic and the big pump that it had, like that was an exchange that had those kind of coins. And now it's actually listed on a lot of exchanges. It's listed on MEXC, it's listed on Gate. I don't want to say a lot, but it's still like readily available for people if they want to buy it, all right? It's nothing huge. I'm forking Zcash as I watch this now. Are you launching a coin? Drop the CA. Can we buy Pirate on Wix or Bluffin? No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. I wish I could buy this on Bluffin if I wanted to buy it, because I use Bluffin for perps. But no, like this is just go on CoinMarketCap and you're going to be able to see what exchanges are available. Pirate Chain looks good. It didn't crash with the rest of crypto like it did on October 10th. Yeah, this is also why I titled this video like this, because at the end of the day, if you think about it, there's not another meta really that with the biggest liquidation event that we saw around 1 month ago, which you guys probably remember. If you're invested in crypto, you probably lost a lot of money, whether liquidated or holding in spot. And I can't see any other crypto narrative that hasn't really been dumping, other than the privacy chain, the privacy coin, sorry. And if you see here the category, the market capitalization has increased a lot. Obviously, right now it's retracing a bit. And why is it retracing a bit today? It's basically retracing for the simple fact that all of the, Zcash is dropping down. And given that Zcash is the alpha play and the catalyst that is driving all of the narrative forward, if Zcash drops, pretty much everything is going to drop. So even if you don't particularly like Zcash, I can't stress this enough. Let's say that I buy Dash today. Let's say that I buy Dash, which is at the end of the day a better play to Zcash, right? Because if you think about it, it's much smaller market cap, etc., etc. If Zcash drops 35%, what do you think is going to happen to lower market cap projects? Even if you don't like Zcash, even if you're not interested in buying that, if I buy Dash today, I should still follow to some extent the movement of Zcash, because if Zcash bounces up from here, then probably the entire narrative is gonna be following. It's gonna be driven, okay? Zcash is gonna be driving the narrative. So just like Monero was doing this before, then right now I think it's just, giving permission to Zcash to do all of this, whether you like it or not. This is the case. And for the broader crypto market, you can say that it's Bitcoin for altcoin, or if there's a meme coin, there's going to be a top meme coin that drives the meta, and then all the beta derivatives of that narrative, they are gonna basically follow the direction of the alpha play. It's always been like this. It's a very simple concept, guys. It's a very simple concept. Monero is the future. They can track your expenses with Monero. It unlocks your financial freedom from this nature. I do completely agree, bro. Mexicans righteous. I like your username. I completely agree. But again, we're talking about a risk to return ratio, a risk to reward ratio. So how many multipliers you can do, you think, with something like Monero that is 6 billion in market cap? And I can say the same thing about Zcash. Zcash right now, it's so high when it comes to, the overall just market cap. Like, look at this. Like, guys, can you believe that Zcash has a higher market cap right now than something like 𝗙𝗲𝗍, Litecoin, 𝗙𝗫𝗫, AVAX? Like, it surpassed all of these cryptos, okay? It's 14. So if you exclude like stable coins, it's really almost in the top 10 of crypto. Like, that is quite insane. That is quite insane to me. So Dash, I would not like it just because of the mission. GhostWareOs, I'm not gonna say that I researched this extensively. I have not, but it sounds quite interesting. So the market cap is quite decent, I think. Let's take a look live. So 10 million in market cap. Okay, 10 million in market cap. It launched quite recently. I'm not sure if this is like the launch date or if it's just when it's got listed on CoinMarketCap. You can also see that it's only on DEXs really, other than xt.com, but it's really a tier 3 exchanges. You can see the most liquidity is coming from 𝗙𝗫𝗪 and Orca. Let's take a look. So I saw this tweet. Privacy is becoming the next 100x narrative in crypto. Yeah, I agree. Obviously, everybody's excited about the Zcash pump. So let's take a look. Okay. Privacy isn't optional anymore. It's survival. I agree. Oh, guys, also, I want to remind you, if you have like good privacy picks, just let me know. I'm going to take a look live. I'm going to just take a look and hunt on like some alpha on crypto Twitter, and we're going to talk about it. So I want to hear from you. And if you just tuned in, there's a giveaway ongoing. So if you're not participating to this giveaway, I honestly don't know what to tell you. I'm giving away 1 Solana to a lucky viewer. Okay, so yeah, I do agree. I've seen people like Brian Armstrong and Vitalik, like all of the big players in crypto. Everybody's just saying that privacy is gonna take, you know, a bigger spot in everything crypto. Base is building private transactions. Privacy is normal. Privacy, at the end of the day, crypto was born to be as decentralized and as private as possible. Obviously, this was not fully possible with something like Bitcoin, because obviously the blockchain is accessible and verifiable to everyone, but the concept of shielded address is really making things very interesting on this sort. So from my understanding, this is really not a privacy coin, but it's a layer. So I'm sure that a lot of you that are OGs and are not new to this are gonna remember something like Tornado Cash. A lot of people were using that to money launder, but that's another story. In the previous bull run, they got like a big lawsuit, but there's a lot of there was especially a lot of layers that were used to mass transaction, which obviously would be used for good and bad purposes alike, but layers that would enable you to, to trade something like on Solana, on Ethereum, and then you would go to like a layer that will give a layer of protection, let's say, to your transaction, and at some point those transactions will become anonymously because you're interacting with a layer, you're sending your crypto through a layer. Okay, so this is like the concept of something like GhostWareOs. So GhostWare, what it does is it hides your wallet activity, transaction, and messages. So basically nobody can trace everything that you're doing. So not only transactions, but even messages, like any kind of activity. So like transfers, trades, swaps, or something that you're doing on Jupiter. So basically GhostWare, what it does is that it hides everything and not even bots are going to be able to trace it. Okay, just like it says that. So I'm not super familiar with the tech, but here it says it uses encrypted multi-node relays, zero-knowledge mixing. So zero-knowledge is exactly the same technology, the same kind of vibe that is being used by, we saw something like, obviously, like Privacy Coin, like Dash, like pretty much everything, like Zcash, that they're using Zsnarks. Zsnarks are basically based on the concept of zero knowledge, so everything is verified without being disclosed. So that is exactly what it means. And adaptive routing, I'm not technical enough to know what this is, to erase both on-chain and network fingerprints before they form. So everything just gets private. It's crazy. It's basically privacy at the protocol level. Okay, at the protocol level, very important. Okay, it's not like a coin. Then obviously they have a coin that is going to enable you to do staking, blah blah blah, take care of take part in the ecosystem. But everything starts from your own blockchain. So in this case, Solana. It sounds very interesting, honestly. Yeah, because at the end of the day, anything that is like, even if you interact with the DEX, at the end of the day, if you're interacting with your wallet address, everybody's going to be able to trace that wallet address, and ultimately somebody could trade that wallet to you. So Ghost, Oh, it was recently listed by Moonshot. That is obviously a Solana app. I didn't know this. Solana insiders like Ansem and Crypto got John. Yeah, obviously both of them have been heavily shilling Zcash. Can we believe that Dash is doing its greatest comeback? As I said, I do prefer other projects just because Dash was kind of like, privacy was like an option that was, they were like, this is a payment solution, I'm going to give you the privacy option. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But they were not really marketing like that. They completely changed their marketing. I don't know, man. This looks interesting. So, obviously, it's very degen. Don't take anything I'm saying in this video as financial advice. I'm just taking a look here at plays that I think are interesting and could be alpha in the future. To be honest, this chart looks quite good because at the end of the day, we have a pump and then we have a retracement. We are 64% down from the all-time high, and the market cap is interesting enough for, for actually giving you a good risk to reward ratio. The way that I want you guys to think is like, what kind of multipliers can I achieve and what risk will I be subject to if I decide to chase these multipliers? To me, something that is sitting at only 9 million in market cap is a no-brainer, especially because the majority of the plays that we're looking already, they are in the billions or they are in the hundreds of millions. If this goes to 100 billion, you've already made a 10x, 11x to be precise. So that's interesting. And I was talking about Pirate Chain. So let's take a look at Pirate Chain. So as I said, this is a fork to Zcash. It uses ZK snarks, but every transaction is following the shielded one. It's open source, blah, blah. And also they use this technology. I saw it before. It's called delayed proof of work, which it basically says that it makes the network stronger and more protected. It says here, preventing 51% of attacks. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure. There's a video here. You can check it out. Anyway, does pretty much everything that you would expect, given that it's a fork and it has that very interesting feature. If you see here, I mean, they're not that big. It's only 20,000 followers on X. The engagement, I mean, it seems all right. Let's take a look at some other place. Let's see if there's something interesting in the comments. I'm going to go through your comments, guys. Yo, the Army family is here. Shout out to Army. Thank you for being here, guys. Market sentiment is growing. I mean, at the end of the day, we're still sitting in deep fear. I mean, look at this, like 25 fear. I wouldn't say the sentiment is growing, but obviously yesterday in the market, we saw some very good performers. 𝗚𝗲𝗁 was pumping yesterday. 𝗙𝗲𝗪 is one of my top picks, by the way. I know that this is not privacy oriented, but 𝗙𝗲𝗪 has really been pumping in, yesterday. It went from like 16 cents to 80 cents. And there was a big news coming from 𝗙𝗪 that basically Binance has joined the network as validator. If that doesn't make you bullish, there's also ETFs program. 𝗙𝗪 is very bullish. 𝗚𝗲𝗪, I'm also very bullish on 𝗚𝗲𝗪. And I'm also very bullish on 𝗙𝗲𝗪. So I would highly recommend you guys, just go here on my own channel. I made a video about 𝗙𝗲𝗪 yesterday, and I explained exactly why I'm so freaking bullish on 𝗙𝗲𝗪. And also I made a video on Zcash that you should have probably watched, because I made this video, it was like $300. It went 2x from just that video alone. So you should have probably watched that. But anyways, are you guys participating in the giveaway? Let me know, chat. Are you in this giveaway? Get to it. One of you guys is going to be one of the winners. I'm going to read everything. I know that a lot of them are going to spam. I'm not sure why. But anyway, I'm going to pick one of you guys as the winner. So make sure to check all of the steps, okay? And all of the links for, X and YouTube, blah, blah, they're all going to be down in the channel, okay? And don't forget to tag 3 freaking people. This guy tagged 4. This guy tagged 3, whatever. But anyway. GM, guys. Shout out to Plex. What's up, bro? Can't wait to know if we are in a bear or bull market. Let me know. Like, maybe we can put a poll. Can I do it from here? I think I can do it from here. How do you guys put a poll? I think I have to be from help. Guys, can you put a poll and say, are we in a bull or bear market? What do you guys think? Because I don't think that I can do it, because obviously I'm not the owner of the Banter channel. Let me know if you guys can do it. Yeah, thank you. I would say that we're still in a bull market. I mean, there's a lot of different indicators that would say so, but we're gonna go through the poll, and then we're gonna see. Let's see. Yeah, it should be live soon anyway. Bitcoin looks bear. No. Bull. I say bull. All right, the poll is live. Get to it. Why would you say that Bitcoin is in a bear market? At the end of the day, what's the price right now? There's a very strong support area at like 98K without even bringing on TradingView. We're at 102K. At the end of the day, we're what, like down 20% from the all-time high. Guys, you can say that we're finding Bitcoin in a bear market. Now, if you're talking about alts, I would say that most alts right now are looking like they are in a bear market, but it's a very different thing. If you look at alts, you would definitely say that. Smash the freaking like button for the alpha. Bam, bam, bam. Smash it. We're also live on Twitch. Pretty cool. Zcash is dead. Bro, you can't call something dead that has been pumping so that much. Like, last month, all right? Exactly 1 month ago, we were at 120. Right now, we are at 580. That is like a 4.8x. So, yes, obviously there's this massive sell-off that was basically due to the transgender announcement or just because the price had just like skyrocketed and the chart was pumping too much. But it's still almost 5x on a month. How can you say it's dead? Doesn't make any sense, bro. Clash. I like Clash, but we're talking about privacy coins today. Time to short Zcash. I think that the time to short was yesterday, which was the obvious local top. I mean, as soon as I saw the chart. Look, you guys saw my tweet yesterday. Let me bring it. Look, I posted this and I was like, I can't be bothered with futures right now, but this was the time to short. If you guys saw this freaking picture that I posted yesterday on Twitter, if you don't follow me on X, I'm not sure what you're doing. It's 𝗙𝗪 with 1_. And obviously, it's part of the giveaway today, so you should follow me. But guys, when I saw this, I was like, it's probably time to short it. I was out. I was chilling. I was not trading yesterday. Otherwise, I would have shorted. But this was obvious as a short. Right now, I mean, after we have a 35% dump on a daily, I'm not so confident to say, hey, it's time to short. Because at the end of the day, it's bouncing off here. Yeah, I'm not sure, bro. Yesterday was time to short. Today, I'm not sure. Send Zcash to 0, lock up the devs. Fair enough. Yeah, usually when people say this is going to 0, it's time to buy. I agree, bro. I agree. Yeah, maybe. ZkSync. ZkSync is basically... I think I saw a tweet from Rand that he said something like Zcash is Bitcoin and ZkSync is for ETH. I can't disagree. I mean, I can't agree more to that statement. Very good. ZkSync is also... I've actually traded ZkSync. People that have been in my VIP group made something like a 5x last year on... was it last year or 2 years ago? But anyway, we traded that and we actually made very good money. So if you want to get all my alerts, make sure to join my VIP group. I'm not sure what you're doing with your life if you're not in there already. We've been printing on a daily basis. In the last live stream, I show you some of like the gains that we've been making as of lately. It's listed down in the description of this video. If you want to join, you guys don't want to miss it. GM from Sweden. GM, brother. How do I pronounce your name? Peachman? I love that some guys like were actually mentioning my picks before I've talked about them. So interesting. Right now, I'm only holding GhostWareOs. It's the only one that I'm holding, like full disclosure. And I'm not paid. I don't have any association or affiliate with this kind of projects. It's just like, I generally like it. And it's Sol. I'm bullish on Sol, so. Why are they pumping? Zcash is pumping. Everything pumps as a result. That's just as simple as that, my friend. May the winner enjoy. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck to everyone. There's going to be one winner that is going to be selected very, very soon. So if you're not live, you're going to miss it. So there's not going to be any announcement. So the announcement is only going to be made in this live stream. So many comments. Just trying to get through them. Decred Privacy, DCR. I don't know this one. I don't know this one. So I'm going to take a look. DCR. Let's take a look. Chat, do you know this one? How do I sign up to terminal/Padre? It's linked in the description, my friend. What are you doing? Just go in the description of this video. It's right here. Terminal. Bam, bam, bam. You click on here, you sign up and you start trading. That's all you gotta do. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Let's take a look. Money evolved. Proof of work with an innovative. I can't speak English. Take on proof of stake that places coin holders in charge of shaping the future. Sounds very corporate. You acquire influence by putting skin in the game. Okay. All right, let's take a look. What is the chart looking at? Oh, by the way, how's the... Why can't I see the chart, the results of the poll? I can't see it. Am I missing something? Can you guys put it in my private chat? Why can't I see the poll? Anyway. Okay. The chart looks... It's been around... It hasn't been around for a very long time, guys. It's been around what? Like 1 week? 420 mil. Like, you see? Like, this is quite big in market cap already. It just launched. What the fuck? What was the highest of market cap? This was 1 billion in market cap like a few days after launch. Okay, I have the results. 75% bull and 25% bear. All right. Interesting. Why was this so big in market cap and why don't I know anything about this one? Let's see the follows on X. This is something also that you guys can do. Like, see who's following it. Some randoms. Or Mario Nafal. Ran. What's up, bro? Okay, he's following it. Designed to layer 1 DAO. Okay. So it's a layer 1 DAO, no ICO. So it's kind of fair launch, maybe? So it uses proof of work and proof of stake. All right. Conceived by a team of Bitcoin developers working with legendary Monero developer 𝗙𝗘𝗧𝗏. Oh, wow, okay. How have I not heard about this? It's also funny that this kind of projects launch at the very peak of the hype of the meta. I'm not sure if it's like an interesting thing or not. It kind of seemed like it had its run, and now it's coming down. What about the supply? So most of this, each thing like 21 million. That's like Bitcoin, right? Circulating 17. So the majority of the supply is circulating. I'm not sure what the emission schedule is going to be looking like, but okay. Thank you for putting this on my radar. I'm definitely going to take a look. It's definitely quite high market cap. Not sure though. Not sure. What happened to chart hackers? What happened? Nothing. It's just a different show. Fixed supply should be the only narrative that matters. Better than fiat, better than gold. Yeah, I agree. Why not? At the end of the day, yeah, like you don't want a token that is very inflationary. You don't want a token that is going to emit more and more supply, blah, blah, blah. So for instance, Monero has a supply that is growing over time, but it's not as inflationary as people make it out to be. So regardless, I think that as long as we don't have a supply that is like excessively inflationary, it's not a big deal. It's not necessarily needed to have a fixed supply. But look at the dash chart. Thank you for the super chat. Good to see you right now. I mean, I'm just gonna look at it on like a graph perspective, okay? So obviously something that is 25% down on a daily, it's very hard for me not to recommend a buy without giving you financial advice. Something that drops like 24% in one day, it must come back up to some extent. In 1 week, you can see that he had its pump. But yeah, it's more like a buy than a sell today, for sure, for sure. Where is Dylan today? This slot is my own slot. Dylan is tomorrow. Oh, Banter fam is awesome. Thank you, Jess. I appreciate you. Any thoughts on Fetch AI? Fetch was pumping like crazy. So first of all, isn't it called, yeah, Artificial Super, this was like the rebranding with the merge of Fetch, Singularity, and Kudos was the other one. Yeah, I can't even remember that one. Anyway, this was not really good. I heard some bad stories about how they basically changed the tokenomics of this one. I traded Fetch when it was like the original FET token before it did this migration and it did this merge between 3 different crypto companies. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really followed after the merge, but all the things that I've heard were quite bearish. However, it's been pumping in the last week, so there must have been some catalyst event or crime going on. Maybe some crime, I don't know. But it seems like there's actually some signs that we might see a rotation into AI projects. Let's see AI. So guys, if you go here on CoinMarketCap on cryptocurrencies, you go on categories. Okay, let's see. AI artificial. Where is AI tokens? Jesus. Okay, AI and big data. Okay. So okay, so the market cap really is not increasing so much, but there's a lot of volume. When you see a lot of volume that is rising up for like a category is very interesting. So 70% volume over the last 30 days. But I see that for the most part, we're seeing a lot of negative price action. So I'm not sure. But I do believe that we're gonna see an AI season sometimes. Love your alpha. Thank you, Anna. Appreciate you. Guys, all the steps for the giveaway are right there. All right? They're right there. They're right there. Why do a lot of people just like, but then they repost, but they don't comment? Just follow the full instructions, guys. You only have like a couple minutes left. They're gonna choose the winner. I bought Zcash at 564. I mean, I can't tell you whether to buy or to sell, bro, but yeah, I'm not sure. You basically bought like, let me. I don't know. It's kind of like forming a pattern right here. So I don't know. I would have like some sort of stop loss maybe like here or so, if that was my trade. I'm not sure if you're doing spot, if you're doing futures, but if you're doing futures, it's definitely very risky. Like, I don't know. No, he didn't buy the top, bro. He didn't buy the top, but I mean, would you buy now? I mean, the very bottom arguably was a good buy here, but I don't know. I wouldn't have done your trade. That's what I can tell you. Fat made some huge moves. Wish I would have kept, but got out. So some yeah, there's been a lot of problems doing spot. Yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe have some kind of stop loss or something like that. Or you could use for spot. You could use something like, I don't know, maybe like a 5 to 10% stop loss or something. People don't use really stop losses on spot and they got wrecked. But stop losses, they're not just for futures trading, at least in my opinion. What about 𝗙𝗃? Not a fan of that one. I was talking about 𝗙𝗃 just now. 𝗙𝗃 is I'm not sure how much you are familiar with me and my own channel, but 𝗙𝗃 has been my top conviction for the last year and a half, and I want to say that half of my portfolio is in 𝗙𝗃 right now. I'm extremely bullish in 𝗙𝗃. I do believe that we're gonna go to a new all-time high this cycle, which could be not necessarily this year, but I would say by the end of the first half of next year, we're gonna see a new all-time high for 𝗙𝗃. 𝗙𝗃 is my biggest conviction. Then I'm also holding 𝗙𝗲 and 𝗏𝗄𝗆. Like, those would be like my top 3 convictions, if you were to ask me. Obviously, you guys see me deal with a lot of meme coins, with a lot of degen stuff, but at the end of the day, like, those are where the majority of my money is. I made money with a lot of degen stuff, but also I always reallocate to stuff that is like much higher in market cap. What will be the bottom? Nobody can know. And if somebody tells you, oh, the bottom is here, it's full of shit. Like, nobody can know. Nobody can know what the bottom is. But what I can tell you is that there's a very strong support area around 98K for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin drops further, okay, if it goes to like 93, 94K, then the alts are gonna just dump like dramatically. I do believe that generally we might have seen the bottom already. Let me grab the Bitcoin chart real quick. So there was this wick. What was the latest one? You can see, yeah, there was this wick that went to 98K, okay, and this was like a couple days ago. It went to 98. You see that 98, I told you, was like the strongest area of support. You can see that this week, I'm looking at the 15-minute chart. There was this wick that went straight to 98K, and then it bounced back very, very strong in this double bottom that went on. Almost went off to form a triple bottom, but yeah, that's probably what I would say. That's probably what I would tell. That was probably like that. Yeah, 𝗙𝗃 is still incredibly cheap at these prices. My average for 𝗙𝗃 is, I think, 1.60. I did my largest buy of 𝗙𝗃 at 1.60 something, and my first buy was at 1.30. That was like when I started really digging into it. I think it was July or August last year. I can't remember like on top of my head, but yeah. Okay, shall we select the winner? Let me refresh the page. Should I select somebody from spam or from here, guys? Because there's a lot that are in spam, but I think it's just because they're not verified. I think it's just because they're not in verified. Why would they be in spam? Should I pick just the very last one? 𝗙𝗀𝗵𝗍𝗍. Did he follow me? Did he repost? Yeah, he reposted. I mean, it's fucking funny. I mean, just because it's the last one. Okay, I'll pick you. So, bro, I'm gonna send you a DM right now, and I'm gonna ask your Solana address, and I'm gonna double check also if your address is in Padre, and we're gonna send you one Solana. So, congrats to 𝗙𝗀𝗵𝗍𝗍, just because it's funny. I mean, it made me laugh. And also, like, I don't always want to select people that are verified, because I know that a lot of people tell me, bro, just don't look at the ones that are verified, because otherwise nobody wins. So today I'm selecting a non-verified one. So yeah, fuck it. All right, guys, congrats, appreciate you. That is it for this live stream. Make sure obviously to follow all of my links, and if you didn't win today, I mean, guys, there's gonna be plenty more giveaways. I'm doing giveaways pretty much every week. There's also gonna be another giveaway that I'm doing on Kick tonight. I'm going live on Kick with some very good friends of mine, and also just partners in my private group. So just follow my free Telegram, and I'm gonna be announcing the other giveaway that I'm gonna be running tonight. So you're gonna have to join and follow us on Kick. And yeah, just more to come very, very soon. Just join my free Telegram, it's gonna be there. All of my links are down in the description. I thank you so much for being here and spending a bit of your Saturday with me once again. Happy trading, make some money. Take care for now. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.